What about Cheney and the false flag stuff that came out from Cy Hirsch and even MSNBC? Tell folks about that.
Well, I think people need to really look at the connection, look at the reality between the facts that this is the same man that concocted this outrageous plan, as reported by Seymour Hirsch, which is detailed in the letter for a false flag stage provocation to bring us into the Iranian conflict. And so people really need to look at that and really need to look at the outline of the measure of this insanity, and then also take note that this is the same guy who violated or usurped a 51-year standing protocol to seize shoot-down power from the generals at NORAD. So the guy that came up with the insane Strait of Hormuz plan is the guy on 9/11, the only guy in the known universe with shoot-down power. And nobody's talking about that. Everybody's talking about my past exploits, so on and so forth. So
well,
I don't have any credibility.
They're just jealous, as if the Pentagon boys don't have any exploits. Hookers are more ubiquitous than water fountains in D.C. Bill Clinton. But the point is, expanding on this, sir, and not what you did when you were 25, expanding on this, it's Dick Cheney that wrote the PNAC document September 20th, 2000, saying we need a big Pearl Harbor event, a big terror attack, a catalyzing event to launch our global domination.
Yes, which people will notice that's observed through the voice of the president in my piece and not by myself, which I think was key.
Tell folks why you had the idea. This was all your idea, and I think it was genius. Brilliant, as many have said. Looking at the piece, different literature sites, Hollywood sites, even some that disagree with you are looking at it and saying this is a really well-written 16-page script. How did you get the idea to have it 20 minutes with the president and then put it out the way we did?
Well, gosh, there were a couple of factors. There was a piece written by Aaron Sorkin, I believe it was in the Washington Post, over a year ago, and it was a fictional meeting between Obama and my father's character, President Bartlett from the West Wing, and Obama goes to him after Dad's out of office and asks for advice, and in the upcoming term, et cetera. And so I thought it was interesting. I thought it was fun. I thought it was cute and really well written. And then a few months ago, I just woke up with the title in my head, 20 Minutes with the President, and I just started thinking, what is this about? What is this? And I started formulating this image of President Obama and myself sitting down and having a discussion. And I thought, well, what's the discussion about? What am I really passionate about? And the discussion's about 9/11 and about a new investigation. And then I got into it, and I lost focus. I lost momentum. I kind of lost my passion in the piece, and I watched a documentary called Press for Truth. It was about the Jersey Girls and the Family Steering Committee, and there was a gentleman interviewed in there, Bob McElvain, and I found something so powerful about his message, so completely disarming and really poignant to all of these feelings that I had and all these thoughts I had about the piece. And so I discovered my motivation in that moment, because I thought to myself, if this gentleman, if this man who is living a life of this much sorrow can wake up one day and just for that day feel a little bit better about the state of things because of the work that I've done, because of the voice that I've utilized to bring attention to this, if I can do that for him, just one guy, then I've done something good. I've done something that matters,
And, of course, that's beautiful, Charlie. Bob lost his son, and he's now raising their grandson with he and his wife. He's going to be on with us later in the next hour. And to paraphrase what you told me when you called me and said you wanted me to come out and work with you on this piece, I was very honored, was that you had so many of the families had written to you over the years, you'd seen their comments and stories thanking you, but then saying, why don't others stand up with him? And some did come out in the aftermath of you 3 years ago and going public, that you are doing this for the families. I mean, you're somebody...
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
That is my focus. That is the driving force behind why I'm doing this. Yeah, but I think, Alex, people need to know how integral you were to this process. That I called on you as my research expert, as my point man on that front to really help me make this thing bulletproof. If you look at what you brought to it and what we've done together, I think it really speaks to the fact that they can't, as I said earlier, disassemble this thing, because it is it's bulletproof. It is it's rooted in fact that we have collected from all of the mainstream arms of media, and so that's what's pissing them off right now, is that we're using all the stuff that they published, and now they can't refute it.
And it's ridiculous that Limbaugh, when it's all over the news in hundreds of papers, first line in the Times of London, LA Times, everywhere, that it was a mock letter of the points you'd like to bring to him, kind of a vehicle to publicly give Obama the data. And there's no doubt the White House has read it and seen it. You've talked to them. Now, moving on here, I want to later get back into the next phase with the White House, a declaration of arms in the peaceful info war to stand up for 9/11 truth and demand a new congressional, truly independent commission. But specifically talking about media.
Sure.
There was one particular show, The View, and you've got a challenge for somebody.
Yes, I do, Alex. Meghan McCain, John McCain's daughter, I guess, was on The View. I don't watch the shows, but I only I read the transcript, and she said some pretty, uneducated, uninformed comments about my piece, or about me personally. She wasn't even talking about the piece. I've just got to believe, Alex, that if I was sitting right next to her, that her tune would have been a lot different. But if she's such an expert on me, first of all, and on the event, secondly, I would welcome her to an open debate. Just pick the time and the place, and I'll be there early. And she better pack a lunch, because it's going to take some time.
And specifically, when we come back after this quick break, we'll detail it, because there's a whole backstory with CNN and Larry King Live going on and what's happening there. And so officially, in your own words, you are challenging Meghan McCain to a debate on Larry King Live next week.
Well, Larry King wouldn't schedule the piece because they couldn't find somebody to represent the other side. So now that Meghan McCain has come out as an expert on me and on September 11th, let's invite her out there. Let's see what she's got, because I'm coming out there. I'm coming out there with my letter. I'm coming out there with the facts. I'm coming out there with the truth. I don't know what she's coming out there with. Maybe she's promoting a book. I don't know. But this is a lot more important than Pulp Fiction.
And you want to bring Bob McIlvaine, and she can bring the Stooges from Popular Mechanics if she wants. The problem is, Popular Mechanics, CNN told me in a separate deal, they wanted to have me on a couple of years ago, and Popular Mechanics won't do it. They won't debate anybody from Loose Change. They have to have it all to themselves. These cowards are called out. They need to come debate you with Meghan McCain next week on Larry King Live.
She can bring her dad. She can bring the ex-vice president. She can bring whoever she wants. But as I said, I'm bringing the truth.
And Bob McIlvaine.
And again, Bob McIlvaine, yeah.
And Charlie will do this debate anywhere in L.A., on television, if it's live. He will not allow him to censor it or cut him up. He's sick and tired of that. You heard it. He's calling you out, you cowards at Popular Mechanics. John McCain wrote the intro hit piece on me in the Popular Mechanics book.
Do you have trouble getting